Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 275 of At Odds with Wrestling. Joe and Adam here. Adam, hello. How are you?
I'm doing fine, other than trying to convince the dog that I'm dog sitting that I am not currently talking to him. And it's going not too well so far.
That's all right. Isn't that the sounds of freedom when there's a dog in the background?
I thought that was motorcycles, but if he throws a fit, I'll say sounds of freedom. I'll co-opt it.
All right. That's the thing. When the boys say that on Final Wrestling Place, I never hear the dog or the motorcycles or whatever it is that they're referring to, you know?
I think it's been a while since I hear it. I don't even think there's a sound anymore. I think he's just, Marcus is playing, he's doing a silly little bit, you know? You know, those boys over there with their silly little bits.
It's not unlike my favorite bit during the summer months on Between the Sheets, when Mr. Frosty is literally right outside Bix's window.
Okay. Does Bix go out and get a nice tasty treat? Oh,
no.
That's a shame.
He tries to ignore it, and Chris sells it. He does the whole, or as much of it as he can, the Eddie Murphy Ice Cream Man bit.
Okay.
If you ever seen Eddie Murphy Delirious, I think that one's on. Yeah. He's just yelling for the ice cream man. And it's funny because that's the same thing I do when the ice cream man comes to my neighborhood.
It's the most exercise you get chasing after that van.
No, usually and that's the thing is like okay, so ice cream man. There are times when it literally parks right outside my window.
Okay.
And I just have to go outside my front door and like take a left and like maybe take 5 steps and the ice cream man's right there, right? Now, again, with the hours that the ice cream man would come during the summer, it's usually when I'm working. There had been times in the summer, this past summer, where they would roll down our street on a Sunday night at like 9:30 at night.
Oh, geez, that's what I was going to say. Is it's like we never have to worry about hearing the ice cream truck when we're recording, but if it's that late, you never know.
It's only come that late on a Sunday. It's never come that late during the week. But I just jinxed it. So when it hits like May or it starts getting warm outside, if the ice cream man shows up while we're recording, I'm going to no-sell it. And then you have to do the ice cream man bit.
All right, cool. I'll message Bix and Zellner and ask them exactly what the bid is.
You just have to yell, ice cream! Ice cream!
Joe, I once
throw out some money!
I've never once...
Ice cream man is coming! What?
I've never once excitedly yelled anything into a microphone during these podcasts, so I know what you're talking about.
See, you have your priorities. Speaking of, you know what? We'll save it for the homework. Well, we save for the homework. We save for this. All right. So I need to apologize to you, Adam.
Uh-oh.
It was brought to my attention this past week that when we did, a couple weeks ago, obviously it would have been the Starrcade and not the night after Nitro. But apparently, during Kevin Nash's entrance at Starrcade, where he beats Goldberg for the belt, the camera focuses in longingly on a young lady in the crowd wearing a Wolfpack shirt and holding up a sign for Kevin Nash.
See, I know where you're going with this.
And it's a pre-signed Stacy Keibler.
See, I've heard it both ways because I've seen that picture a million times, and that's always been the rumor or the scuttlebutt that's Stacy Keibler. But I could have swore she said that wasn't her.
It's absolutely her.
I mean, God bless the world.
It's where she lived.
I mean, if there's 2 people that look like Stacy Keibler, we're doing something right. But like, I could have swore that was debunked.
There's a Nitro earlier in the year in '98 where they're in the Baltimore, DC area where she was definitely spotted in the crowd as well.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad that it is her. She's got good taste, at least at that time.
And it's months from now. It's not until like the summer when they do the Nitro Girl Challenge thing.
Yeah.
Where she makes her first official debut as like a contestant of the Nitro Girl thing and then wins the Nitro Girl thing. Like Like I make sure to get the Raven stuff and the Jericho stuff, I'm going to make sure that we get that stuff as well.
Oh, you're a saint.
Yes, I have it penciled in to make sure that we don't miss it, right?
Just the right amount of stuff to keep me invested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, let's get into the show, huh?
Let's do it.
And now, At Odds with Wrestling presents This Day in Wrestling History.
I feel like it's been a long time since I've gotten a chance to say this, but Adam, I hope you like clips, motherfucker.
I love clips.
All right. So, on this day in wrestling history, 31 years ago, if you want to feel real old, Adam, it was the first time that we ever heard this.
Welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. We are live from New York City's Manhattan Center. I'm Vince McMahon, along with the Macho Man Randy Savage. Bobby Heenan's on the outside. Who's on the inside? Rob Bartlett. That's who.
What a downgrade.
All right. So, this episode of Monday Night Raw had 4 matches.
It was only an hour, right?
An hour long, 4 matches, 1 in-ring promo. How many of those 4 matches can you name?
0.
For real?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was something like Shawn Michaels probably wrestled, Undertaker probably wrestled. Like, I just don't know who wrestled.
Okay, and you know what? I'll say you're dead nuts on. So,
among other great matches, you'll see the Steiner brothers in tag team action, plus a very special interview with Razor Ramon. This is a great match. I can't wait to see this. Koko Beware versus Yokozuna. You know, the guy's got that diaper thing going right up there in the middle between the dead man's land and no man's land. And Macho!
Oh, he's so edgy.
Forgot about Yokozuna. That's all I can think about right now. But also, it's Damien Demento, which is my favorite, The Undertaker. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
What a matchup! A series on a match your way right here on Monday Night Raw.
And Shawn Michaels defending the Intercontinental title against Max Moon.
Oh, see, I was going to guess Max Moon just because how many other venues did Max Moon wrestle at, you know?
And that's one of those things when I was pulling up the notes, you know, I know we're on like the day and dates for the debut of Raw, so those are always going to be in, you know, from here on out. But I like the Damien Demento versus Undertaker match. I knew the Shawn versus Max Moon match, the Yokozuna Koko match, and I'm like, there's a 4th match, and I couldn't remember what it is. But it's just a random Steiner Brothers squash. It's them against maybe one guy we'll see a little bit later on. I don't know.
Fair enough. I will say that the Manhattan Center was one of my original wrestling meccas, like as a youngster watching Raw. Like I was like, I can't imagine a cooler place to go see wrestling. I begged my mom to take me there. Never happened.
I never got a chance to see a show there either, and I'm kind of bummed about it. You know, it's a lot different now. It would have been cool to go see a a Raw there, but you know, they ran there for a little bit here in '93, and then they would come back every now and then. But by the time that we hit like June, July, they're running in like Poughkeepsie and like places like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes like another show. Like they do like the one night live and then they'll tape like the next like 2 to 3 weeks after that. But at least here it's like 1 week live, 1 week taped, 1 week live, 1 week taped.
Yeah. It's an example of a televised residency. And maybe we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to get that out of the way first, but I also wanted to mention that on this day in wrestling history in 1991, at a house show that was built up on TV for WCW, that the attraction for this was a match of Lex Luger taking on Mr. Hughes. Again, no big deal there. Paul E. was going to be managing Mr. Hughes, and in Lex Luger's corner was going to be Lawrence Taylor.
Okay.
So this was Lawrence Taylor's first foray into the world of professional wrestling. Not because, and again, this deal wasn't brokered because him and Paulie were friends on the New York club scene. maybe into the same things.
I was going to ask if Lawrence Taylor was paid in cash or something else. Cut out the middleman.
And it's one of those things, like, I remember the televised promos for it because, we had, by this time in 91, I had WCW on both TBS and there was a Saturday show that was on at like 9 o'clock on WWOR, and it would be like the New York centralized WCW show, and it would be promos hyping up this house show. So like the Lex versus Mr. Hughes match happens, but this is also where Ric Flair, after all the Black Scorpion stuff, beats Sting for the world title.
Okay. They should run it back in a couple months on pay-per-view.
Well, again, I don't know. I don't think we're going to get there. I don't think the WCW pay-per-views line up with where we are in the world of wrestling right now. But it's a really bad show overall. It's like there's a match of El Gigante, Ricky Morton, and Tommy Rich taking on Bobby Eaton and the Freebirds.
El Gigante doing a lot of heavy lifting in that match.
Oh yeah, the Steiner brothers versus the Master Blasters. And, they structured a house show here like they would structure like a WWF house show where your main event matches are kind of like intermission-ish, Mm-hmm. The actual main event was a 4-minute cage match between Arn Anderson and Barry Windham and Doom.
WCW setting a precedent that would last into the 2000s of a 4-minute main event.
Yes. And the Lex Luger Mr. Hughes match was a Battle Royal rules singles match.
Oh, so toss over the top rope to win?
Yes.
Oh. That's you know what? They got to bring that back. That seems like a very easy way to avoid bumps.
Yes.
For one person.
You got to take one, right?
Well, the loser does.
Yeah. So, of course, we have our head-to-head Monday Night Raw versus Monday Nitro. And we're going to start with Nitro this week. The main event is starting to get a little suspect. Not to say it wasn't suspect to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about our favorites, the people that we like. Oh, before we get to that. So, this Nitro is the Giant. I'm sorry? The Giants.
Okay, thank you.
Last match in WCW as the NWO, not called Elite, but Elite, blame him, the Giant, for Bischoff losing 2 weeks prior on Nitro when Macho Man swerved them.
Okay.
So Kevin Nash and the Giant have a match that was titled For NWO Giant Supremacy.
All right.
Nash wins, and like the entire NWO beat down the Giant, lay him out, spray paint him, the whole thing. And I'll never forget, because this is like, I'm dirt sheet adjacent at this time, I'm not subscribed to the Observer, but I'm going to the websites that like lift the stuff from the Observer,
Sure.
And it was already known for a while at this point that the Giant was going to WWF. It was just a question of when. And at the end of the show, after Nash beats the Giant, Bischoff, who's doing commentary, starts saying, like, Kevin Nash is the one true corporate titan, and, like, all this other stuff, because there was rumors that Big Show, again, the Giant Big Show, that his name coming into WWF would be Titan.
Which would be 10 times cooler than the fucking Big Show.
Right. Well, if you remember... And
he was just Paul White originally.
Well, right. It's just Paul White. And then it's the Big Nasty. And then it's the Big Show. And like they change his name like 3 or 4 times from the time that he debuts to the time that WrestleMania 15 comes up. Oh, pay-per-views don't line up. The Raws line up. Okay, forget about that. But we have to look at our favorites, the guys that we like over on Nitro. So let's start things off here to see what's going on with someone who's having... let's just say 25 years ago, things were much more favorable for him than they are today.
Myself, of course, everybody back at the announce position, everybody back in the locker rooms, and all of these fans know what went down between you and Chris Jericho. Obviously, in your mind, a huge injustice.
Well, first of all, what an impossible job I got to follow Flair. But let's talk about Jericho. Hey, I never cry about losing. but I am going to cry when I'm cheated. Jericho, you and Dickerson screwed me, and you know you did. How about giving me a rematch?
But I don't think he's going to be too quick to give you a rematch. He feels like he's dispensed with you, and his business with you has concluded.
Do I look dispensed?
No, you don't look dispensed, but I'm not Chris Jericho.
Jericho, if you're in the back, come on out.
Well, I know he's back there somewhere. Somebody can make arrangements. There he is with that toothless wonder.
We'll take him long to get out of here.
Rufus.
Oh, Ralphus.
Whatever.
All right, I'm fished in, P.S. I was interested in what you had to say. I mean, we're standing back here listening to you cry and complain with your fellow bald boy, Gene Mean, about how you were mistreated and how you were lied to and how you were abused. The way that we see it and the way that it stands in the record books is that Jericho has beaten you twice, fairly and squarely. My hand was raised by a WCW official. Perry, I mean, you're out here crying and caterwauling like a 10-year-old adolescent schoolgirl. I mean, you should be wearing a dress.
Uh-oh.
He should be wearing a dress, shouldn't he, Ralphus?
What?
Yeah, okay, how about this? And see what you think about this. I'll give you a rematch to try and come in the ring and get your crazy revenge against me. But when I beat you for the third time, you have to agree to wear a dress for the rest of your wrestling career, P.S.
Now, wait a minute. Chris Jericho, that's absurd. You've got too much time on your hands. That idle thinking will get you nowhere.
Tell you what, Chris, I do a lot of things, but drag isn't one of them. No.
Well, I think you got an answer there, Mr. Jericho.
Well, do you want a rematch against the greatest showman in WCW? Do you want a rematch against the leader and the role model for all of the Jerichoholics? If you want it, just agree to wear a nice frilly little evening gown, my man. I'll be in there, in like Flynn. Boom, boom.
You know what?
Boom,
I'm so sick of hearing you run your mouth. Fine, that's a stipulation. You bet. If I lose, I'll wear the dress, but there's no way I'm losing.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute, Perry.
Hold on, Gene Mean. Let me just say this. And when you lose, Perry, you will regret this, because a man with your massive, manly ego will never, ever be able to handle wearing a dress in the center of the ring, because you don't have the personality for it, you don't have the attitude for it, and most importantly of all, you don't have the legs for it. Daddy-o, let's go, Ralphus.
All right. I don't know if that is officially put together, but apparently you went along with it.
There's no way I'm losing this match.
All right, those are the ground rules. Very unusual, to say the least. Can you believe it, Tony? If this man loses, he's got to wear a dress?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You can.
I can believe just about anything on this program.
What a difference the world makes, huh?
Yeah. Like, if Jericho came up last week, we didn't have any clips last week, I was going to ask, like, am I still allowed to pine over 25 years ago Jericho as much as I do and try to get unblocked, like, knowing just how bad of a couple weeks? I mean, he's had a bad decade, but it's just been pushed to the forefront in the last couple weeks.
So let's say this week, maybe Jericho might get a turn of the barrel to kind of wash some of this away. This week, we're okay playing a Jericho clip. We'll see how next week goes.
He didn't meet his wife back then, right? Like, it was many years later, I hope.
Many years later, yes.
All right, that explains some stuff.
No, again, I don't know. Well, anyway, read Jericho's book. The signs have always been there. Speaking of which, we do get some plot developments with my man Raven, a.k.a. Sad Scotty Flamingo. But like I said, if I play what happens on Nitro, it's not going to make any sense without playing the clips that happen on Thunder.
It would be irresponsible.
It would be irresponsible. That's right. So let's go to the first of those two clips.
Scotty, we're all here.
Why are you so gentle?
Oh, I did get confirmation from the great Max Power on social media that this is Raven's shoot mother.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, thank you.
I'm trying to help him, Mother. You need to go back and see Dr. Latham.
I don't like Dr. Latham.
But you didn't finish the treatment. Darling, you didn't finish the treatment.
Dr. Latham is a quack, Mother.
Just give it a chance.
Doctors are no good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Sit by a dirty, filthy.
There is no way to talk to our guest.
Well, where is he going to take you?
Chad's here to help. Charles.
That Canyon always got an eyes for the
And
ladies.
see the doctor. Finish the treatment. She can try, Mother. She's the only one that he'll listen to.
I don't want to see the treatment. I don't want to go back to the institution. I don't want to talk to you because you're aggravating me.
You know, it's really not all about what you want.
Then what's it about?
It's about us getting you help because obviously you can't do it for
You want to help me? Leave me alone.
You don't know what's good for you. You don't know what's good for you. I know what's good for you.
Just listen to him.
He's not making any sense, Chaz. I'm sorry. He's not making any sense.
You're
right. Scotty, come back here. I'm talking to you.
Don't call him back.
Come back here and Scotty, I am talking to you.
Let me get you a drink. You've got to come.
They've been looking slim and trim.
Chaz, if you
always looking good.
A part of the solution. Don't be a part of the problem, okay?
I'm not a part of the problem.
Yeah, you are.
You're not leaving him alone.
He listens to you.
And you don't listen to him. There's a major problem.
Don't talk to your mother like that.
Grandma.
That's no way to talk to your mother.
Grandma had her hand pretty high up in his thigh.
Reminds me of the.
Listen, who could blame her, first of all?
I know.
Second of all, so this is the introduction of Raven's sister, Chastity, who was previously on a short stint in ECW.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she did anything else that I can think of that would be notable. Nothing that ECW, because they were petty and angry that Raven left, Chastity left, and maybe 2 or 3 other people left all around the same time, that they were petty and would bring it up on TV like all the time and try to get her to lose this job that she got, which again was a really nice plum job. These guys were getting hired during an upcoming spending freeze because they were all adjacent to Raven, who was friends with DDP.
It's they're like Hogan crony hires, but only for Raven.
Yes. Now we're going to be introduced to one of the other characters in the greater extended Raven universe here, right?
Raven Cinematic Universe.
Yes. But there's the discussion there of the Doctor, okay? Now, this never materializes, and it was debunked many years later, but there was discussion in the dirt sheets at the time that the Doctor was going to come in, played by other ECW defector, Mikey Whipwreck.
Okay.
And that they were going to do a thing where he was like a Doogie Howser-esque younger Doctor.
That's awesome. Why didn't they do it?
Well, again, it was in the dirt sheets, and then like years later, Raven and Mikey and everyone else involved debunked it, but it could just have been one of those things that like got pitched, never made it past like the pitch phase, but somebody stooged it off to the dirt sheets, you know, and that's kind of like how when Candido was first coming into WWF, it made it so far that it was even in the aftermags that Candido's gimmick in WWF was going to be Mighty Mouse.
Because Vince loves Mighty Mouse.
And it was right. So it's not that Vince loves Mighty Mouse, but Vince loves the idea of a short guy who's really muscled up.
Yeah.
And that's how Vince explains that to people, because Vince's only frame of references are cartoons from the late 50s and early 60s. And then that gets lost in translation, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's meet some other people in the greater expanded Raven Cinematic Universe.
It's right on the water?
Yes.
Sounds perfect, Mom. I like that a lot.
Wonderful. I would love that.
James?
Better believe it, I'm back.
Listen to that voice. And again, as I pause it, look at the look on Canyon's face.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is a visual clip, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
I had to come over and see you guys. Look how beautiful the sun is today. Isn't it a gorgeous day out for this time of year in December?
Hello, Jim.
Oh, Canyon.
Front bump from Canyon.
We just cleaned it.
Hey, sis, it's so good to see you.
Don't give us a
Grandma. Oh, you haven't aged a day since the
This is a sitcom that should have made $1 million.
Mom, you are looking like $1 million.
Oh, I love
6 seasons in a movie.
Let me go talk to.
No.
He wants to.
It's one of those days.
He wants to be ignored.
Okay,
So just
we've been
ignore
through this
him.
before. That's all right.
James,
That's
thank
okay.
you.
We can sit here and talk all afternoon. Oh, you should see Kelly. She's so big and 12 now. Tyler's already 9.
Tyler?
100 pounds.
Did it again.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
You did it again. What about me?
Look at how good Raven looks there.
Chiseled.
My friend comes over to visit, and you occupy his time. Everything in my life you do, Mom. You take everything from me. What about me?
Didn't you say you wanted to be alone? I was honoring that request.
Yeah, Your Honor, because it was good for you.
No, Scotty, that's what you
gonna
said
be
you
okay.
wanted. I can't win for losing.
It's going to be okay, Mom.
Why don't you go see what you can do?
I'll go talk to him. I'll go talk to him. He always listens to me. Give me a couple minutes,
You
guys.
need to hush, Chastity. You don't even know what you're talking about. We're trying to help him. You don't know how to help him.
All right. I think she does. But anyway. So now we're on Nitro. Okay.
Okay.
So now this clip will make sense after those things, right?
Yeah.
If I
Now,
just play,
I would have been lost otherwise. So
right.
Yeah, that Canyon ain't coming around again today, is he?
No.
You know what I think? I think you should.
Oh, come on, Internet.
Saturn. You got a short.
Hang on.
Back in high school, we were the only.
Oh, come on, hang on. Do I have to fix this? No, we're going to play it again. Hang on.
Yeah, that Canyon ain't coming around again today, is he?
No.
You know what I think? I think you should ditch him just like you did Saturn. You got to
ditch Saturn.
What?
Huh?
Sorry, Scotty. Remember back in high school, we were the only person that ever liked him.
It's your move. Hey, Mom.
Why is this clip not working?
Hey,
Damn
Mom.
it, on this day in WWE.
Where's my high school yearbook?
Fix your shit.
Out in the box in the garage. Mark's
This is an important one, though.
out in the box in the garage. Mark Scotty's stuff. Put it out there. I told
Why
you
is it in the garage?
This is cute.
Because your grandmother moved in and I needed the room, Scotty. I told you that.
I know
So
Grandma moved in, but
confined
why
to
did
that
you have to
house.
take my stuff down? She could have left my stuff on the walls.
The room.
Oh, I guess it was inappropriate for Grandma to have my stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
The stuff was all tasteful, Mom.
I don't know. I know you, Scotty.
Man, you don't need to disrespect her like that.
Shut up, Jim.
Hey, did you find anything?
There's sounds of freedom.
Find anything?
No,
Roddy Piper.
nothing.
Piper. Piper.
Now, Adam, do you remember where all this goes?
It goes nowhere. We talked about it before.
All of it goes nowhere. I think they do one more set of skits of the house. The Raven Piper thing never happens. And then we'll get there when we get there. But then Sandman and Chastity just show up on TV as an act together, as though it's just like, this is just a thing, right?
Yeah, it's what it's always been.
So much time. And I completely forgot about the bit in there on the Nitro where Sandman mentions to Raven that him and Saturn were friends in high school.
Yep, it's all connected.
It actually ends up getting paid off like 2 months down the road, right?
Yeah.
But,
so ahead of its time, all this Raven lore.
Yes.
It's a shame. You know what? As the former director of WCW Continuity Division, I worked hard on this to have it all get scrapped for nothing.
Oh my goodness! I hope somebody gets fired over all this, right?
Mm.
So again, over on Raw, and again, a couple of these clips. Did we play the debut of Undertaker as corporate or as a Ministry of Darkness Undertaker with the Midian thing? Did we play that before?
Not on here now.
All right, so we're going to play it now. If you remember, 2 weeks ago, Mideon showed up. He was told to come to Nitro or to come to Raw. He didn't know why. Last week, we saw him in a dungeon chained up in the bowels of the building. And again, it's Mideon, so nobody really cared. So let's see how things are going with Mideon now.
Uh-oh. We've seen that before. That is they're the Acolytes.
Right, and so the Acolytes now are just with The Undertaker. After the last time they were on TV, they were with the Jackal. The Jackal's gone, by the way.
Oh, poor guy.
That's Dennis Knight. Dennis Knight, flanked by the Acolytes.
I don't like this.
King, I don't know what to make of this.
Guys, Druid's like, where's my spot?
Right, there's three, keep in mind, there's 3 Druids completely fully cloaked, having difficulty figure out where they're supposed to stand on the stage.
Yeah.
What? Uh-oh.
This is my favorite era of Mark McKenna's ministry.
Is it because he doesn't wrestle?
Is that?
That's him.
I don't know. Well, there. That looks like The Undertaker. Is that the Undertaker? And that was Paul Bearer bowing down in front of him. The Acolytes are there. Is this?
Now, listen and watch if you can.
I like the looks of this.
Me down in a grave as if it would be my final resting place, filling it with the earth's rotting soil. They tried to destroy me, wishing
a little bit of a delay on the mic there.
But what is it?
Right.
What have they really done? The simple minds of mortal men. They've sent me back to the place that is my origin. Destroy me. The more they try, the more powerful I've become. And now, I've risen from my earthy grave, and now I will slay the ones I once saved. The reckoning is upon us, the day that the Ministry of Darkness seizes the land, destroys all that you hold dear, make playthings of your heroes, and devour your innocence. The plague of darkness is coming, an all-encompassing evil for which there is no escape.
9,000 laser pointers
no
on
mercy,
space.
no hope.
He's trying to lip sync this promo that's being put over the loudspeaker.
And in the future, I will look down upon thee, and I will decide whether you're an agent of darkness, or are you just mere kindling for my fires? The power of darkness shall be offered only to a chosen few. And those that resist the temptations of my ministry, pain becomes synonymous with punishment.
This certainly goes on a while.
Oh, yes. The entire clip is like 9 minutes long. So we're going to skip ahead. Undertaker rambling. He gets up. He's going to perform the ceremony. And I want... So...
Oh, no, he's slitting his wrist.
He's slitting his wrist with a ceremonial dagger.
Oh, my. Oh, my gosh.
I'm pretty sure this is no longer on the network. What?
Squeezing it into a cup.
What are we experiencing?
A lot of blood coming out of that wound.
He nicked a vein.
From this moment,
he started talking a solid 20 seconds before the
Dennis Knight. You Arminian. I'll drink.
Pouring the fake blood into Midian's mouth, who's like super sweaty for some reason.
The red viscous liquid.
Oh, he's taking Midian's clothes off. All right. I mean, wait.
Is he gonna Kali Ma him right now?
Very natural way to be holding a knife.
It's like a paint pen.
Theater of the mind.
Wonder if they had to shake it up backstage first. That's a hell of a visual, though.
And again, listen, with 2024 eyes, this is like all corny and goofy and whatever, right? But at the time, it's like, what the fuck is going on, man? Right?
Yeah. And again, can you imagine how much cooler this would look if there wasn't 1,000 laser pointers on everybody?
I think the laser pointers make it cooler, right?
It tells you what year it was.
You will know why. You are afraid of the dark. And you will learn why.
Oh!
Good thing that druid moved, or he might have gotten Hetfielded there.
Lightning struck the Undertaker's symbol, not a cross, and lit it on fire.
They should have told Mark that if he couldn't memorize the lines and do them live, you're not allowed to do them. You don't need to trim it back. So refresh my memory, was Taker gone for a while and then this is just his re-debut, or it's like a slow transition into the ministry?
Dennis Knight or Midian, he's floating. King, what the hell? What the hell is going on? What?
So apparently Cole got a stage direction that Midian was supposed to be levitating, and he wasn't. But yeah,
I missed something there. Yeah.
So Undertaker had lost the Buried Alive match to Stone Cold last month.
Yeah.
And this was a way to get him, and he had been nursing some injuries since like the summer and stuff, but like he was such an over character, they wanted to keep him on TV in a way, and this was their way to keep him on TV. I don't think Undertaker wrestles like a match for like another like month plus, but with this character, with this new thing, he's on TV every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like I said, for whatever reason, if you all the different versions, whether it be American Badass or Comedy Tour Undertaker or like old Spooky Undertaker, Earned Undertaker, this is my favorite version. I don't know why. It's just probably because it's so corny and it's from the height of the Attitude Era, you know.
A few weeks later, we get them trying to like hand wave all of this. Like an explanation as to like why this is happening, but then they kind of ignore it and they just like keep going forward with like the spookiness, right?
I've always liked spooky stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, on the same episode of Monday Night Raw, where we have that going on, we also have this going on.
Gilbert, you're up! You're up, Gilbert!
Tony Garea.
And there he is!
Listen to the crowd going crazy for him.
All those genuine Gilbert chants.
King, they're chanting Gilbert, but I'm looking at the thousands here at the Compact Center. No one's on their feet, and no one's moving their mouth. What are you trying to say? You hear it, don't you? This is Gilbert! This is the man called Gilbert! Yes! What are you laughing at? through it. King, he must be piping this Gilbert chant through the PA system. And there he is. A man called
WCW sucks sign.
Right. Oh,
close up.
On the WCW sucks.
Look at that pyro. Oh, man. What a pyro show for a man called Gilbert.
It's a Q Cold, Blue Meanie, and Bob Holly.
Being led to the ring by the very able Job Squad. Man, this must be his pregame ritual here, huh? I see a guy over there, Chance Gilbert. Watch it. Yeah, I see him too. One guy. Look, he's choking on the smoke. Don't laugh. Don't make fun of this. Oh, boy.
A little bit.
I think the crowd is stunned.
So, that first episode of Raw,
He got a sign.
the Steiners took on Barry Hardy and Dwayne Gill.
Okay.
So, like, if you watch that first episode of Raw, and you're like, okay, see all these people on the show? 2 of them are going to be on Raw in 6 years. Which 2?
Taker and Dwayne Gill. How about that?
Exactly.
Gilbert is ready for battle.
Oh, don't tell me he's going to talk. Gilbert doesn't want to know who's next. Gilbert wants to know who's first. Yeah!
All right, the match itself is inconsequential. Luna Vachon comes out and beats the shit out of him. Now, so, not only is this literally pissing on a dead WCW that would still go on to live for another 2 years,
yeah,
but lest ye forget, Jericho did this same thing in WCW with the fake Gilbert like 4 months ago.
Yeah, Vince assumes nobody watches WCW.
I guess.
Jericho did it better.
Jericho did do it better, but after they give up on the whole Gilbert thing here, Dwayne Gill ends up defending the WWF light heavyweight title on Maryland area indies for like the next 5 years.
Yeah, because they were just pretty much done with the belts, right? WWE, they didn't give a shit anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, again, enough fun. Undertaker using a fake knife. Dwayne Gill doing the Gilbert thing. It's time to get into some serious business.
Yeah, I want some legitimate athletic competition in my wrestling now.
You want legitimate athletic competition, we'll get there. We need to have the training for the legitimate athletic competition first.
It doesn't happen overnight, I know.
Let's go! I bet you want this! Austin, baby! Austin! That's it! Vinnie Mac's the man! Number two! Well, that's it. Put your hood back on. We want you to catch cold out here. You do. I'm not the one training for the Royal Rumble. You're number 2. Number 2, you know what that means? Come on, pick up the pace. Let's go. Come on, move it up. Royal Rumble, you're number 2. Endurance is the key. Text me if you can. Speed up, driver. Speed up. Yeah, baby, come on. Yeah. This is the stupidest. This is the moment of truth. This is the stupidest one of them all. No, it's not. I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. That's okay. And you would chase up. This is how you used to do it. This is how you build speed. You will beat Austin. You'll be faster than Austin. You need greasy, fast speed. You need to be grease light. Grease light. Catch that chicken. That's it.
This is even better than last week.
Get the chicken. Come on, that's it. Get it.
He's going to chase some rice next.
How bad do you want it? Bad. How bad? Real bad. I can't hear you. It is cold. Freezing, baby. How do you come through to a good state? Right after training. I knew you'd come through. Something like that. You're crossing me up again, aren't you, huh? I'm not crossing. So you think this is you finish that for a freaking movie or something? You're gonna pay. After all this is over, you're gonna pay. Now open the damn door. Whatever. Here's your first one. Here you go, big boy. Wrap it up. Let's go. Hit it. That's it. Beautiful. Boom. Oh, yeah. That's it. You want Austin. Come on. You own Austin. Here it comes.
Let's just steal everything from Rocky.
Right. they're just taking a run pretty much like
Austin doesn't stand a chance. Yeah, that's it. Own him. Make it bleed, baby. That's it. Tenderize Austin's face. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Come on, you're knuckle sore. That's too bad. What do you think Austin's going to do to you? Austin 316? Nothing. He is toast. He is toast. Good night, baby. Forget about it.
You're just slapping his meat, Vince, huh? Now, if you notice there, Shane is saying that Vince is number 2. Obviously, we saw the drawing a couple weeks ago. They pulled the numbers out, and Austin got number 1, and Vince got number 30. Well, before he was ceremoniously taken off TV, and I don't play these clips because he stinks, then Commissioner Shawn Michaels, in his last act of power, changed Vince's number from number 30 to number 2, right?
It seems like a nice thing for a nice guy to do.
But Vince, in the interest of fairness, decided to have this night on Raw the first ever Royal Rumble that any member of the corporation or any member of DX can join. And the winner would get number 30.
Okay.
So let's take you to the closing moments.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. Huh? Well, Triple H was the last participant. Well, obviously the
That's an Aaron Horn.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Jack.
Look at this.
He caught that chicken right.
Yeah, Vinny Mac. That's it. Look how buffed he looks.
Look at him.
He is in shape. Look at that.
Oh, my God.
And Triple H. Side chest. Triple H wants a piece of Mr. McMahon. Vinny Mac's getting there. Look at that. He's buff.
Look at those arms.
Look at that. 21, baby. 21.
Shane, what have you put together here?
Look at that. Look at it. Oh, boy. Triple H down in trouble.
Almost. Here he comes. Mr. McMahon. Look at this.
There goes Boss Man and Triple H. Mr. McMahon has won Corporate Rumble. He pulled the fast one. Mr. McMahon is number 30. Mr. McMahon pulled the fast one. He's no longer number 2.
Look at this. Look at this.
Look at that. Oh, look at the bumpness. Yeah.
Break.
Wait a minute.
The buzzer. It's China. What? It's China. China's a
Listen to that pop.
for DX.
Wait a minute. She can't be in this.
What do you mean? Mr. McMahon was in it.
What?
No.
Shane, what's up?
Mr. McMahon has not yet won the Corporate Rumble. That's it. Come on. Don't worry about it. Patterson and Briscoe, they learned their lesson. Don't worry about it. They can handle this. Perfect. Well, Shane, I don't think Mr. McMahon has yet won the Corporate Rumble. Oh, yes, he has. Of course he has. Well, they buzzed 30. They buzzed China in. No. Yeah, Patterson and Briscoe have that under control, believe me. Hey, yo, China! Easy! I'm gonna hit you! China, level Patterson! China, what the hell, Briscoe?
Listen to that pop. And Vince doing the gulp.
It's here! The rattlesnake is here! We're gonna get it on! Oh, yeah! We're gonna get it to Vinny Mac! Go! We got a Vinny Mac! We got
Now watch Vince snap.
China wins the Rumble! China is number 30 in the Rumble!
Mr. McMahon's been eliminated by a woman.
Austin makes sure that he beats Mr. McMahon first at the Rumble! Austin, you'll pay! Austin, you're gonna pay at the Rumble! One-on-one at the Rumble! I hate him! Mr. McMahon is number 2! Stone Cold is number 1! How can China be number 30? The rattlesnake is struck again! Austin, back for this! I'll tell you.
Oh,
Such a great era.
what a time to be alive for the World Wrestling Entertainment, huh?
Yeah, 100%. All Vince was missing there is a pencil-thin handlebar mustache, and he would have been perfect.
Man, I wasn't missing that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the pop for China, the pop for Austin, man, like they were just fired on all cylinders at this time, man. It was some of the best shit around, you know?
Even Vince as a heel got a huge pop coming out, like an Arnold Jack.
God.
You know?
Yeah, like none of it holds up. None of the match quality is good, but like it was all about moments, you know? And Like, I think it helped that WCW was so bad at this time, too.
Yeah. I was still holding on, but it was like I was watching both, but WWE was the one you wanted to watch.
No, like I said, just like we're doing here, I was taping the show. I'd have one VCR running to tape Nitro. I'd watch Raw live, and then I'd go back and I'd watch like the Jericho segments and the Raven segments, and that was it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. So enough about the future or about the past. We spent almost an hour talking about it, but I could have talked about it for more, even longer. Jesus. Let's get into what we've watched or want to talk about from the last week of professional wrestling. I had something I wanted to start with, but I know you said something you wanted to kind of lead things off with, so I'll let you go first.
I appreciate the opportunity here. Joe, like, obviously AEW, been around for about 5 years now. I think we just had the anniversary, something like that.
Correct, yes.
And, like, a lot of people will debate what the greatest matches over that 5-year period could be, like, just off the top of my head, like Brody Lee versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT title. That was a banger, like the strap match. Or like Kenny Omega versus Pac versus OC for the world title when Kenny was the belt collector. That's there. Obviously, Hangman versus Swerve, another like a recent one, could be an all-timer for AEW. But, Joe, all of those need to be cast aside because there's a new number one match in AEW history, and that is from this past week's Collision. And that is Sky Blue versus Kiera Hogan.
Oh, my God.
And I just have to say, Joe, I'm not going to get into great detail. I encourage everybody to go out there and do some tape study on this. But WWE likes to waste a lot of time and effort trying to put together these spectacular entrances at WrestleMania with all these extras and like vehicles and tanks and, druids and flames. AEW really nailed how to do a perfect entrance this past week, and just go check the footage is all I have to say. But great match, probably the best ever, and that's my first talking point.
I think some people in the company need to do some double-sided tape study.
Double-sided tape study, perfect.
So
it was like the Zapruder film. I was rewinding back, forward, and back and to the left.
I guess we have all our things. We all have our things that we like. I guess I don't know.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I
watch all my grease out there in the open. I'm not a secretive about it.
You're uncancelable.
Exactly. Can't touch me.
I'll say this. My thing I'd like to talk about this week first will be from Collision as well. And that was the Eddie Kingston versus Trent match, right?
Yeah, they fucking beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like that Eddie kind of brings out in people. Like, he's going to get you to give it to him really hard, and then he's going to give it to you. And it was one of those situations where I'm watching it, and I see Eddie pop Trent once, and I'm like, ooh, I think he broke his nose on that one. And then Trent rolls the outside, and he moves his hand, and he's just pouring blood. I'm like, holy shit, like. Usually, like, I get shocked by stuff like that, but that was a wild match. I know they announced it for Rampage this week, as Eddie is going to defend the Continental Crown against Mr. Rampage himself, which feels more like an insult than anything else, but whatever. Wheeler Yuta, I'm sure that'll be a good match. I didn't see no spoilers about it. I got my fingers crossed that Wheeler let a gusher as well,
Yeah, and afterwards you get these Eddie Kingston promos that are still holding over from like the style from the Continental Classic where he just puts over being in a war every single time. You know, he looks like a Major League Baseball starting pitcher. He's just got ice packs taped to his arm all over the place. It looks awesome.
And then to do media for them being at Daly's place this past week, Eddie was on like whatever the local AM morning show is.
Okay.
Like chatting up with like whoever your bargain basement Ryan, I was going to say Ryan Leckie for us locally, Ryan Seacrest type,
Uh-huh.
And the guy's like, oh, yeah, that wrestling. What's it like coming off the top rope? And he's like, oh, I don't usually go off the top rope. And they mention about the titles that he wins. And like, hey, as you do on the AM morning shows on the local affiliates, Eddie gets to wax Poeta, come out in the All Japan Triple Crown, normal stuff that happens in the world these days, right?
Yeah, like Eddie Kingston doesn't strike me as the person who should be talking to civilians.
That's the thing. I think Eddie is the best person because, like, he's
the
charismatic
and he's real.
He's charismatic. And like when they were in the Pacific Northwest last week, Swerve was the one that was doing all the media. I think they're finally finding the right stretch of guys. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, how come this one's not doing media? Or how come that one's not doing media? I don't know, because a lot of those people are phonies and would expose your business, where someone like Swerve or Eddie goes out there and they talk, and like even just like talking to the local weatherman, like you could feel the passion that they have for what they do. So, you know, maybe they could stay home, and we'll talk about that maybe too later.
Fair enough. I'm going to kind of trail out of what you just mentioned on one, like this isn't a long detailed point, but I just want to say I love Daly's Place.
Yeah.
And like, it's such a treat getting to see like them go back there. And like, I like the fact that they do it once a year. And I think somebody said in the Discord that they'd like to see them there more often, but it's definitely the nostalgia glasses of all the great stuff that happened in Daly's Place, you know, whether it be Brody, and I saw the clip of Eddie Kingston's debut. Somebody retweeted it earlier today, so I rewatched that promo. Just a lot of great stuff happened there, and I think it's just a perfect wrestling venue. And I mentioned the Manhattan Center earlier. Like, I'd love to go to an AEW show at the Daly's Place one day, you know?
Yeah, that'd be really cool, I think. I know a lot of people were bitching about the screens and stuff there, that it didn't look like the Daly's Place of old. Well, but when you spend money on those screens, you don't just keep them in the truck, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, early Daly's Place had the Cody elevator, and they did. I mentioned before the Kenny Omega Pac OC match that was on a pay-per-view at Daly's, and it had this setup only without the screens. I think it was just like banners or signs in the backdrop. So it's not the first time they've done this layout. It's just the first time they've done this layout with the LED screens. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah,
it's way better than killing the entire like backdrop of the ring with the two different tunnels. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I think, how long, Joe, before we get the nostalgia for the Thunderdome? There's got to be a certain segment of the audience that was like their introduction to wrestling. So somebody's got to be nostalgic for it.
I think it's either the WWE 2K21 or 22.
They had it as an arena.
It's like all the arenas are Thunderdomes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, no matter, like, if Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view or whatever it is, it's all Thunderdome with domes with the screens. And my little nephew has the game, and when I go over, he'll want to play. And it's just still, that's weird. Whereas I think Daly's Place, like, is a little bit better because, like, there was actual people there. Granted, it wasn't a ton of people, but it was, like, people.
And AEW didn't just take a year off from storytelling, you know? Yeah. But I was just saying, well, I wonder if they should make a play set of the Thunderdome, you know, just a bunch of little stickers on the TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you have anything else, Joe?
Yeah, sure, why not? So I don't want to step on your toes with something that you're going to talk about a little bit later on, but I mentioned something like this last week, and it's 2 weeks in a row. And I just want to mention, you know who's a real good guy? Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
So we talked last week about the thing with him buying the WrestleMania tickets for all the Wrestle Club kids, right?
Uh-huh.
So again, I still don't have my actual Twitter, so it's difficult rebuilding my Twitter experience on the At Odds account. So it's like, oh, I forgot this person, that person, this person, that person, right? So this dude that I've been following for a long time, his name's Danny. He's like, his Twitter account is just his initials or whatever it is. He's big in the women's wrestling world. He's tied into that. And he had tweeted out today as we talked that today is the 10-year anniversary of WWE blowing him off for a contest that he didn't even want to win. It was just one of those. That. Okay. So it's just one of those things where it was like, oh, it was during tribute to the troops. If you tweet out with this hashtag and we pick you, we'll send you a thing of WWE dog tags, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like, oh, you won, message WWE community and we'll get your address and everything else like that. Well, that was 10 years ago and they never followed up with them. And today was the 10-year anniversary of that happening. So it's like every year he tweets it out. He didn't tag anybody in it, right? He just tweets it out. Cody finds the tweet, reaches out to the guy, gets him tickets to the next time that Raw is coming to his area in Michigan, right?
Uh-huh.
And the guy said, he goes, there's more that's lined up, but I can't talk about it yet.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, like, did Cody need to do that? Right? No. But like the fact that Cody does stuff like that, like, you know, like, he's not my guy. He seems like he's a really good guy, Cody, right?
Yeah, it makes it understandable why some people are addicted to that narcotic.
Listen, I'm not saying I bought a bottle of their narcotic, but I think I'm getting like, can you get secondhand drunk from the narcotic? By seeing people have good moments. And like there was the other thing over the weekend where like some guy brought a sign to a show saying like, Cody, be my best man. And Cody found him and he's like, tell me the dates and I'll come to your wedding. And Cody's now that guy's best man at his wedding, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Right. Now, I could be cynical and say, it sounds like a guy who just doesn't want to be home.
Well, he's got a baby. You don't want to be around those things. They just shit and fucking cry and the worst.
But I'll just say, Cody is really bringing like an above and beyond sort of fan interaction of people that kind of has been missing in big time wrestling, right? And I'm sure it's all corporate write-offs, and I'm sure like it's all being foot the bill and, you know, whatever it is. But like, you can't beat that sort of PR, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, how you'd see with John Cena when he was active, he was super active with like the Make-A-Wish and like going to like hospitals everywhere. And like, this is kind of Cody's thing, but not, you know, not for the people that are sick, just general fans, you know, trying to be that popular and outgoing and whatnot.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's currently going on or we're going to get there in a couple years that Cody's the guy doing the Make-A-Wishes where Cena was.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Good for him. So again, 2 weeks in a row. It's Cody Rhodes seems like a nice guy. I don't know why everybody's so mean to him.
Speaking of nice guys, Joe, go ahead and play that jingle.
My way, my life.
The Lexis King moment of the week.
Joe, strap in. This is a banner week for Lexis King. I feel like he was on 80% of NXT this week. But before we get started, I do have a question or an observation about The Rock's shitty daughter. And she was just like another person in like that spooky cult for a long time with like the grizzled young vets and what's that guy?
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy. Like, she was just one of them last time I paid attention to NXT. And now, I'm not going to say she's in a position of authority, but I think she just kind of hangs out outside of Shawn Michaels' office and just relays messages to people as they come up to the office. So that's like her role, and it's probably her ceiling. But NXT, she's just hanging out outside of Shawn Michaels' office this week, and then this happened.
Well. That is great. And I'm assuming since no mas visa issues, that means open challenges are back on the table. Am I wrong?
I was going to discuss that. You know, Dragon Lee is always ready.
Yeah, well, I'm always ready too, amigo. I'm so ready, in fact, I had this contract drafted up. So you don't have to go out there and wait for a challenger. All you gotta do is sign.
Te voy a quitar esa carita de payaso. And that's gonna start tonight.
I guess it's a done deal then.
Guess so. Well, see you tonight, cabron.
What did he just call me?
Don't worry about it. Happy to have you back.
So, before that clip started, basically Dragon Lee said that he had visa issues, but they're now over. So he's ready to compete and defend his North American title. And as you see, Lexis King shows up with a contract with a giant star on it, challenges for the North American title. Dragon Lee accepts it in a way that's very actionable by saying he's always ready. There's going to be a certain gimmick attorney that'll be notified about that shortly. But we have our main event, Joe. Now, the main event is not the next time you see Lexis King. Oba Femi, that's right, Oba Femi, the random NXT name generator came up with Oba Femi, the winner of the men's breakout tournament, is being interviewed. And while he's being interviewed, he they're talking about how the winner of the breakout tournament gets like a Money in the Bank type contract. A lot of that going around lately. And Lexis King shows up during that. Unfortunately, I do not have the clip for that, but King congratulates Oba for winning, says that Oba is going to make a great world champion, and Lexis King will be a great North American champion. And Lexis, I swear to God, and this pisses me off, says that he's the face of Tuesday nights, Joe.
The face?
The face. So Lexis King walks off a set, and Oba Femi is like, oh, so he's wrestling tonight in the main event, and kind of does that WWE trademark thing where you look off into the distance like you're contemplating something. Stupid as hell. Then, unrelated to Lexis King, we had Cora Jade versus Gigi Dolan. Completely unrelated, but a nice little highlight from my NXT viewing tour. But we get finally to the main event. I refused to watch the match. It was like 2.5 segments long. But Dragon Lee wins with some lame-ass finisher, don't know the name of. And then afterwards, Oba Femi comes out, cashes in his breakout tournament contract. They call it executing the contract, and he wins the title, stealing. The opportunity wasn't stolen because Lexis lost anyways, clean. But then Oba Femi goes and steals the spotlight. And sadly, that is a very extended end to Lexis King moment of the week.
My way, my life.
The Lexis King moment of the week.
So there was a clip going around of like the closing like minute of that match, right? And everyone like, man, look at Lexis King cook. He's improved so much in NXT, right?
Yeah, I saw that. It was in our Discord. I saw all the comments.
He's literally standing still while Dragon Lee does moves around him.
And it's not even like he's basing for Dragon Lee. He's just a prop.
Yes. And Lexis King does like a pump handle thing, right? And he's so blown up that he barely gets Dragon Lee up for it. It's fantastic. Brian Pillman Jr., Lexis King, is someone who's been wrestling for almost 10 years. I think in another 10 years he'll be ready for the main roster.
Hey, you know what? I mean, Shawn Michaels doing miracles down there.
Yeah, he's doing something.
He's one of Shawn's kids.
Good Lord. All right. Hey, last thing. I know Lexis King moment of the week usually wraps things up, but I just want to throw this out there. I don't like the Young Bucks. I don't like seeing them on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, the match with the two of them against Sting and Darby at Sting's last match isn't what I wanted, but apparently, if the rumors are believed, it's what Sting wanted. I'm sure the match will be fine. It's just that, I'm in that rarefied air of people who not only hates the Young Bucks, but also hates Voldemort as well. We're back to calling him that now since I can't talk about him on the show due to my own edict, right?
Yes.
Because especially in the last year or two, you had to pick one side. And I'm like, well, I've hated both sides for like 15, 20 years now. Fuck all y'all, right?
Yeah.
Again, they look like goofs with their mustaches that it took them 2 months to grow. I'm sure the match will be fine, but they just never have had an emotional connection to me because everything they do is fake and phony and forced. And, when there was like weeks and months ago where people were like, oh, well, why aren't the Bucks out doing like PR and, appearances? It's because they don't know how to be real people. And if they showed up on like a newscast or a public appearance, it would be weird and awkward. And it would actually probably be worse. Now, granted, I don't think that they're self-aware enough not to put themselves in a situation like that. But I think Tony Khan is like smart enough to be like, no, guys, your skills are better used not interacting with the public.
Yeah, you guys, you're too big to be going out there.
Yeah,
you don't want to waste your talents on that. Yeah,
right. That's the ticket.
You've paid your dues. You don't need to go out there.
Yeah.
Yay, Sting, Darby versus the Bucks.
I have a feeling that match is going to change. It's not going to be just a straight up tag match of 2 versus 2. I think it's going to be more teams, or it's going to be a multi-person thing, or it's going to be something. Whatever.
Yeah, spread the rub around to a lot of different people so that they can all be involved in Sting's last match,
Exactly. So do you have a homework assignment for us?
I do, but what are we doing tonight on our Patreon?
Oh, that's right. We're watching the taped February 15th, aired February 16th, 2000 episode of WCW Thunder. If you thought Nitro was the go-home show for Super Bowl, you were correct, but we still have 2 more hours of TV to fill, so we get this.
Okay. It was definitely an hour and 23 minutes of my life.
Uh-huh.
But, Joe, you know what is your homework assignment for this week? I've decided, based on recent discussions, that there are some people in this world that just have bunnies that are so big that even if they take a bite out of it every single minute of every single day for the rest of their lives, that bunny will still be so big that you can't even fit it through the door. And that is the goddamn Rock, the coolest person on the planet. So we are going to start for 2024 watching the film hors d'oeuvres of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And your first movie is actually a recent one, Joe.
Oh.
Which I assume you have not seen because of one of the co-stars. From 2021, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Gal Gadot, and old Double R himself, Ryan Reynolds, we will be watching Red Notice, available on Netflix.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that a Netflix exclusive?
It is.
Yeah, so if you have Netflix, you can go watch that. I might have to go sign up for Netflix so I can watch that.
Oh, I heard you winking there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming you have not seen that.
No, I have not seen that. I don't have Netflix no longer. Let me hit mute before we start playing this, as long as I don't get popped for some sort of illegal something or other here, right?
Yeah. Your internet's doing wonderful today.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This look okay to you?
I mean, I'm going to be watching it on Netflix, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It exists out there on, some other places if you search for it, but I think I might have to go elsewhere. We'll figure out something. We might put a link in the Patreon for you so everyone can get a chance to see it, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, they would be deprived to do so, but, it's funny. This Rock guy, you don't realize it. He's been in a lot of movies, Joe.
He's been in a couple movies, I guess.
There's a lot of movies, and we're gonna watch a couple of them, Joe.
All right, I can't wait.
I mean, Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds,
all the stars are here.
All the stars. It's a tour de force, Joe.
Now, I will say, I actually heard this movie was not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's quite the lethal combination of people. That's all.
Again, you cannot possibly buy that much star power,
I guess,
for a movie that was released on Netflix. I don't know.
But again, these days there's like good movies that get released on like your direct to streaming or streaming exclusive sort of things, you know?
Oh yeah.
Granted, if it was on Tubi, we'd be singing another story, you know. But
if it was on Tubi, it would have won a freaking Oscar, you know?
Exactly. All right, so
next
week we'll be talking about Red Notice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into some phone calls, eh?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hello, gentlemen. Kevin here. Gonna be a busy weekend. Doing a road trip, going to see a friend, someone you guys might know.
The Educator.
And just hanging out. A lot of wrestling on Saturday, too. So just going to have a nice 4-day weekend from work, nice little break. A lot of driving. I got thinking, today I was just kind of trying to get in the mood, get psyched up for having a lot of driving ahead of me. And I was blasting music, probably way too loud, singing top of my lungs, all that fun stuff. And I got thinking, guys, what do you like listening to on a road trip? So you're traveling, you want to stay awake, you want to get pumped, you want to just be in the right mood. What music are you blasting through the speakers on your road trip? I may have asked some other people in the soon-to-be network the same question. So just curious, maybe I'll add some to my own playlist here. But you know what I have to listen to first? the brand new Patreon exclusive episode later on tonight/tomorrow morning, talking about WCW Thunder from February 16th, 2000. Oh my gosh, what a show, what an episode, what a can't miss discussion this is going to be. Just sign up for the Patreon. Maybe sign up for some sort of streaming music service to get all the music that will no doubt be discussed onto your own playlist. All right. Have a good night, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you for the plug, Kevin. I don't listen to music unless, like, very seldom do I have music on in a car. Like when you and I go to like LVAC, I'll have music on, but it'll be low because we'll be like bullshitting about wrestling or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not as much that I'm listening to wrestling, but that's because I don't put a podcast on if I'm talking to the person that I'm driving with, you know? But 9 times out of 10, like if I going wherever for a long period of time, I'm just listening to podcasts, you know?
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I'm by myself going somewhere, podcasts. I'm out of the music business. Music has escaped me, unfortunately, and that's okay. I'm an old man. But when I have multiple people, as Adam mentioned, even if it's just one other person, always talking. The one I will mention, and again, I'll pick up this name that I'm about to drop. On one of the AEW road trips, it was a van full of people, but the only 2 people that were awake were me and Brian Myers. And on the road trip home, we listened to the Raven Secrets of the Rings.
Okay.
And we were just like commenting and like kind of like we were doing commentary on what Raven was talking about, you know?
Yeah. Well, I remember one time when I was driving back from AEW and I had Ultramantis Black and Big Dan Champion in the car, you know, and I was trying to think of what we listened to as I was driving them home.
I think Dan made us listen to Bruce Springsteen.
Probably that tracks.
Yeah. Now, I want to say this, Adam. Now, I always say, in the interest of fairness, I do not listen to calls ahead of time. Okay.
Okay.
But when people tell me that they're going to call in, and then we get like 3 calls while we're recording, I might look just to see, right?
Yeah.
So the next 1, 2, 3, 4 calls are all related, right?
All right.
So I'm going to play the calls. I'm going to introduce the people, thank them for calling, and then we'll discuss afterwards, right?
After the 4? All right.
Yeah. So first call is from friend of the show, longtime listener. He'll introduce himself.
Hello, Adam. Hello, Joe. It's the strongest man in all the land. I wish I could be calling on better news, but unfortunately, some wild shit has been announced over the wrestling Twitterverse. And as someone who doesn't give a shit about any wrestling discourse in this time in my life, this one changes that because it involves someone that I used to consider a good friend, and that would be Stepstool Sarah. I got to tell you, I read the article, read it a couple times to make sure I had the facts straight, and the worst part of the whole thing, the worst part of it, is blaming your autism when confronted about just predatory, disgusting behavior. I know plenty of people all throughout life who have autism, and guess what happened? They didn't touch or try to groom or sexually manipulate any kids, okay? I don't care if they just turned 18. They're still in high school. These are still kids. They are not adults. The whole situation is just icky, and the fact that I ever once considered this a person I could talk to about anything, and we fell out for numerous reasons, and that's not anyone else's business, truthfully. But yeah, Stepstool Sarah is a piece of shit, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to say that out loud, and I disavow any association I've ever had with this piece of shit. If you're out there and you know people who are grooming, you should probably speak up because I'm sick of seeing shit like this. Honestly, I'm not making jokes here. It's a real tragedy for everyone involved. I'm glad that St. Louis Anarchy took the right steps and got rid of them. That's really all I gotta say, man. There's a lot of people ever since I left wrestling really showing their asses lately, and it's crazy. That's all I got. I hope you guys are wonderful. Have a great rest of your day and show.
Thank you for your call, Artie. Next call is from Doxy Stoxy.
Oh, wow.
Hey, this is Doxy Stoxy calling in. And I just want to talk about them. First, I want to tell everyone I hope they had a good holiday and New Year. It's a rough time of the year for a lot of people. It's cold, it's shitty, it can be financially taxing and emotionally taxing. So yeah, I mean, it was rough for me. I lost one of my best friends in the form of one of my cats. But yeah, it sucked. Anyway, I want to talk about the main discourse of Twitter for the day. And that is, that would be, Stepstool Sarah getting outed for grooming. And then on a lesser note, Caden getting called out for being kind of manipulative and shitty and using people. Angela Slane pretty much called out Joshi pervert salad fingers, that is Caden. And, Stepstool Sarah, was shown to be pretty weird and manipulative and shitty too. And, everyone that tries to act like your friend or seems wholesome or is just wrestling is for everybody / ooh, small bean, whatever the fuck, is the people that should be lined up against the wall for the firing range. And yeah, I win again, as always, because I'm undefeated and just hate everybody. Therefore, I will always win. And I just want to take one moment and just laugh about Stepstool Sarah, because when that fucking idiot Dan fake tweets his tweets about me, Stepstool almost tried to start a dog pile on me, but had to be told several times by several different people that they were clearly fake and she would look like a massive fucking idiot if she tried to dog pile. Anyway, fuck them. Fuck them all. Everyone sucks except me and Joe and them. And I like listening to, I hope to listen to Ed's really stoned calls on this episode when it launches. I'm going to bed soon because I have to be up at 4 a.m. to do snow removal for a blizzard in a school district. Everyone have a good time. And for Pod Van Dam, love you. Love the show. Love you long time. Goodbye.
Thank you for the call, Doxy. Next call is from another name and voice you might recognize.
Hey guys, it's Jonah from Pod Van Dam. Remember me? I just have to ask, with all these people getting canceled in independent wrestling today, it really begs the question, what member of IW Guide Podcast is going to be canceled next? Thanks, boys. Miss you. Love you. Free Joe Sposto. Bye.
I know we'll address everything, but I think Jay Gold is next.
Oh, see, I disagree. I disagree.
All right, and one more call. I mentioned it before for doing the research in regards to Raven's mom, but this is Max Power calling in as well.
Hey, everybody. This is Max Power calling into the Odds Wrestling Show with Joe and Adam. And, I just want to comment on this Stepstool Sarah incident and just say that I guess that not everything is coming up Millhouse. Have a nice day.
So, again, like I said, a lot of people, in regards to this person's Stepstool Sarah, and if this feels like it was a bunch of people piling on, these are people that have not been fans of this person for her behavior for a very long time. She had an incident a few years ago where people, and this happens to a lot of people, if people are looking to get you out of whatever you're in, and again, I'll preface this by saying canceled on Twitter, canceled in indie wrestling is not canceled in real life. You know what I mean? It just isn't, right? Mm-hmm. I don't mean to make light of the situations that happen, but the first time that Sarah got canceled, quote unquote, is because people pulled up like 5 or 6 year old tweets of hers using like racial slurs and stuff, but she was quoting song lyrics, but people took them out of context and they could find whatever they want of anything that you've ever done to attempt to get you canceled or whatever. Now, obviously, she worked her way back into the world of independent wrestling, as you heard already mentioned, as though he had developed a friendship with her, and it seems to have gone sour. And, You heard Doxy say there was an incident that he had that a person who was a web person for current MLW wrestler Akira faked screenshots to try to make it look like Doxy had said a bunch of stuff that was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really fake. And Sarah attempted, because she had a bone to pick with Doxy, because Doxy's a maniac on Twitter.
Yeah, he is.
Right. And she, as you mentioned, had to be talked off the ledge of these sort of things. But, and then, of course, Doxy had also mentioned about Caden, who is an AEW fan. He had just lost his grandfather recently. They were staples at AEW shows. But he was one of the first people to come out and say, like, hey, Sarah's bad, in a clout sort of way. And then that caused other people to say, like, hey, when this happened to you and we called you out about it, you either lied to our faces or blocked us. And now here you are chasing clout in this instance, right?
Yeah.
So there are shitty people in all walks of life. And again, I'll say this. If this feels like it's piling on Sarah, maybe it is. But I don't know, Adam, if you're familiar with the story that had happened.
I read the article today, but I want to preface and just say I've heard the name Stepstool Sarah like hundreds of times over the past couple of years, but I have no idea who or what they are. As far as like, I didn't know that it was like commentator or wrestler or podcaster. I had no idea the context. That just shows how little I'm involved in that world. But I did read the article today, when it came out.
Yeah. So again, the article comes out. Before the article comes out, she had, and again, Sarah, again, pronouns, again, I apologize. Sarah went and put her account on private and start deleting tweets. And it certainly doesn't look great, right? Mm. And obviously, if this was a guy doing this to a girl, I think there would be a lot more outrage. But because it's a girl doing it to a guy, there's a couple people that I actually spoke to that are like, oh, what's the big deal, right?
Yeah, and it's the old joke about like, the grade schoolers and a hot female teacher,
Yeah, and again,
double standard.
Adam Carolla used to have a joke in his act and say, if what everyone else calls abuse is something that you masturbate about years later, then is it really abuse? But again, we're talking about minors. We're talking about 17 years old and 18 years old. You're talking about someone who's in their mid to late 30s in a position of power or a position of authority or a position above this other person, whatever it is. The whole thing is very bad. I hope that Sarah learns their lesson from this, if they didn't learn their lesson from the last time. Some people are just not cut out to be involved with the people that are involved in professional wrestling for whatever reason. It definitely feels like Sarah is one of those people that shouldn't be because of whatever the triggers it is. And I know that in the article, as already mentioned, they said that they were doing this because of their autism, which again doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm not a doctor. If somebody came to me and said, well, I'm preying on a minor because of my autism, I'd want to see a doctor's note that they, you know what I mean, to see their diagnosis, right?
Yeah, like I'm ignorant of like something, so I'm not as quick to fly off the handle, but that just seems not right, not accurate,
All of it sounds wrong.
Yeah.
And kudos to St. Louis Anarchy for policing themselves in regards to a situation like this. I would like to hope that this was the first instance of it happening, that there weren't other instances that either went under the radar, were ignored, or that they just didn't know about because nobody else spoke up. And I'm in an interesting spot because I'm tangentially involved in wrestling. I'm barely involved in wrestling these days. I do the LVAC shows, more on those later to mention that. But, speaking out is still a thing. Just because, like, we're out of the pandemic and all these people are your friends, you can't look past shitty behavior. I hate to say it, and this had come up on the show during all of this. Juan Francisco de Coronado. Johnny was one of my friends. It was somebody that I talked to all the time. And when the allegations came out against him, I went and I didn't believe them at first because Johnny was my friend. and I went and I investigated things. I watched the footage that was questioned. I reached out to him, and I reached out to the person who was making these accusations and formed an educated thing. And I had said to Johnny, he didn't know how to handle it. And I said, you need to take care of it. I go, you're past apologizing to this person. I know you're not that person today. There's nothing you could do to prove that you're not this person, because it was something that had happened like 7 years prior, but it still happened. And it still happened when this other person was on their underage. I go, you just need to make sure that your family is in order. This unfortunately is your departure from the world of professional wrestling. And I don't think he took that very well. But that's just the way that it goes. He wasn't currently that person. He was married and had kids and everything else like that. And I would like to think that he wasn't that person any longer, but we don't talk anymore. And it's probably because of that, right?
Yeah.
But, and sometimes you need to be the one. If you don't make a big, and I feel comfortable talking about it because it's been like 4 years now, whatever. But you don't have to be that person to make the big proclamation online or a big giant Facebook post or whatever it is, but at least say something to the person. If you have a relationship with a person, friend, mentor, you're in a relationship with them and information about that comes out about them and it looks really bad, say something to them. Don't sweep it under the rug. Let them know how what they did made you feel, your trust was betrayed or whatever else like that. And hopefully they grow from it. And hopefully you're able to get over of that loss of trust that you had in that person. And hopefully you're able to, because sometimes that fucks you up in like trusting other people, right? And what that one person did to you, either directly or indirectly, can fuck up all your relationships for the rest of your life. Mm. I hope everyone comes out better from this, whether it be Sarah, whether it be the kid, whether it be people that were friends of either one. Hopefully Caden figures out his life, and the people that Caden lied to, can not look at all fans in the way that maybe he acted toward them. Because they're not all that. And not everybody in wrestling is a scumbag. But again, it's wrestling. It attracts scumbags. It's just natural.
Yeah. And just to kind of wrap things up and bring some levity to it, as far as Jonah's question earlier, who is the next person on Indie Wrestling Guide to get canceled? Yes. You mentioned Jay Gold, and see, Jay Gold may or may not have killed his first wife, and he got away with that. So, yeah, so if that didn't bring him down, nothing will. And Marcy's very similar to me, where she puts all of her greasiness right out on the open. So, you can't cancel her because, it's just all there. It's not like there's going to be this hidden thing found down the road. So that really brings it down to Jayhawk or Butters. And I honestly think that between the two of them, the one that's most likely to have, a super sketchy past is Charlie Butters. So I think Butters is the next one to get canceled.
Not, what's his name, Stan from Vermont?
Stan from Burlington. You can't cancel him because you don't know who he is or where he lives.
Some strong Gary and San Diego vibes there,
Yeah, but that's just my theory,
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm just saying, if Jay Gold killed his first wife, and I'll say allegedly.
He may or may not have. There's been rumors and implications, yes.
I'll say allegedly, right?
Yes, yeah.
You kill once, you'll kill again. All I'm saying.
That's possible. But do you get canceled for murder? That's more of that's no, that's
that's real canceled. You go to jail, and then depending on what state you're in, you get the death penalty, which is you are canceled. Your life
that's the ultimate cancellation.
That's the ultimate cancellation. Yes.
All right. I always figured cancellation is you're blacklisted from your career and society, but you're not really held accountable in a court of law type of deal.
Listen, I know people that were super ultra mega canceled on social media, and they still have their longtime job. Well, I won't say the name of the company, but it kind of makes sense that they still have the job. Anyway,
their longtime job as CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Well, maybe not CEO, but
yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you to all those callers regarding that topic.
Thank you. And now it is pink button time. It is time for Young Ed.
Hey, Joe and Adam, it's Ed. hey, so I've noticed that in the last month or so, once a week, I will have a tweet that gets over 500 likes, right? And this never used to happen on the PVD account. I had way more followers, right? And I'm not bragging. I'm saying I have a theory on why this is happening. And it's not that my opinions are getting better, or I'm getting smarter or anything. It's that wrestling Twitter is getting dumber and worse. So I seem like a smarter person with better takes because there's so much shit on this app now. Wrestling Twitter is just overtaken by some of the dumbest fucking creatures imaginable. So compared to them, I seem like I know what I'm talking about. And that's my theory. What do you guys think? I think the WWE being popular has made wrestling Twitter dumber. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think most of these really, really dumb people are giant WWE fans. I think they're all pretty fucking stupid. So yeah, let me know your opinion on this. It's very weird. I don't know. It's been a weird month. I get popular on there. Once I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Ooh, my macaroni and cheese is done. Here's a microwave DP. Okay, bye.
I have a theory about this, and I just want to say, I do agree with Ed that wrestling Twitter is really dumb, especially fans of certain audiences or certain product. But I thought about this before because all I really do with Twitter is I'll look at my mentions or DMs or whatever. But once a day, I just go to Ed's Twitter and I just scroll his timeline. Because if Ed didn't talk about it, it's not really worth knowing about, in my opinion.
All right.
It's if Ed didn't weigh in on it, did it really happen in the world of social media? So I read all of Ed's tweets. I might not see all of his replies, but I see everything he posts on his main board. And my theory about why Ed's stuff is blowing up so much is myself, who have been on Twitter and for 10 plus years versus this Hayabusa account that's less than a year old. We have similar follower numbers, but all of Ed's Hayabusa followers specifically subscribed or followed him because they want to see what he says. So that's 500 and something people that are reading everything he puts out. They're at the edge of their seat and they're liking and they're retweeting and they're commenting, and it's that's why that stuff gets in front of so many eyes. Versus my 500 followers, 485 of them have me muted. So that's why he's able to get so much done with such a smaller following, is that they're legitimately 500 or so devoted viewers like I am. That's my theory.
I will agree that wrestling Twitter, especially let's say within the last year, maybe even the last 6 months, has gotten exponentially dumber.
Yeah.
I saw come across my timeline today no less than 3 different accounts that have been started since October of this year that are pro Bischoff Stan accounts. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's on every side of every argument when it comes to wrestling. There's even, we're AEW fans here, but there's AEW, with 10 numbers at the end that are standing for Tony Khan and whatnot. But go ahead.
Right, and listen, I like wrestling. This stuff, I fully admit I watch AEW more because I have a lot more friends there, and I'll tune over to WWE and. The stuff that I see that's not LA Knight related, it doesn't really, inspire me, right?
Yeah.
And I'll also say, to paraphrase a quote from Jim Cornette before he died, because he's dead now.
Well, hopefully.
A conversation that he had with Ole Anderson, where Ole Anderson told Jim Cornette that Jim Cornette isn't any less of a dumb fuck, but they've let more dumb fucks into the business that by comparison, he looks like less of a dumb fuck.
And I will just say before we move on to, I assume, Ed's next call, I did learn from Ed's Twitter this week that WWE pipes in crowd noise for the entire show just to drown out asshole chants.
Yes.
That's the only reason. I learned that.
The only reason, yes.
The only reason, yes.
All right, next call from Ed.
Hey, Joe and Adam, it's Ed. It's Thursday. I know I called in earlier this week, but I genuinely can't remember what for. I smoke a lot of marijuana. But we're 2 weeks out from the Royal Rumble, and then that means that the Raw after that is like almost a little over 2 weeks out too. So like, what are we doing here, boys? We got some fucking money. What's going on? You gonna give me money to watch Monday Night Raw? Okay, bye.
At first, I thought he was trying to remind us about the Royal Rumble opportunity, which obviously we should probably start talking about anyways. But then I forgot that we were supposed to figure out a way to pay him to watch Raw. And does that have to be like the Raw after the Rumble? Was there a timetable on this?
I think we had discussed it was the Raw after that because that was going to be the most Phil episode of Raw that there would be, being that Phil is more than likely winning the Royal Rumble. Yeah. And that was where he was going to announce that he was wrestling for not the real title, but the fake title at WrestleMania.
Man of his convictions, yeah.
Right. And I think because Ed loves Phil so much, Voldemort, excuse me. Phil loves Voldemort so much that it would be like the most Voldemort that he could watch. And Raw is a long, boring show.
But also, if we're paying him for this, why are we trying to make it pleasant by giving him lots of what he wants?
Right, but that's the thing. So all these people that are part of the Voldemorticia.
Yes.
Roll off the tongue the same way. But all the people that are part of that are like, oh yeah, everything's coming up Voldemort. It's all so great. Did you see what Voldemort did on Raw this week? No, we don't watch that show because it sucks. It's like they just live in this world where they're just happy that he's in the sport of professional wrestling, but they don't watch what he does because the show that he's on sucks. And
I will say, Joe, as a member of the Voldemort Misha, I did watch that Voldemort Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre promo. So my money where my mouth is. I said that I would make it a point to tune in and see when Voldemort did stuff and watch it. But I didn't watch the other 2 hours and 45 minutes of the show.
Yet you talked about Lexis King instead of Voldemort. So that kind of shows you.
Lexis King, I mean, I'm hearing good things about his wrestling ability. I didn't hear that about Voldemort.
There you go. Thank you. You call him what you want. I'm back to calling him Voldemort.
I'm just playing along with your bit.
Oh, okay.
So I think that the Ed thing, just because we're in a busy season, maybe we put a pin in that. But I definitely think we need to get the at odds Royal Rumble opportunity started, because as Ed pointed out, the Rumble's in 16 days,
something like that. Yeah, 2 weeks this Saturday,
27th. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we should probably do that again.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out something.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like, I'm going to say it right now. It was $5 a spot, and there was a men's and there was a women's.
Yeah.
And my PayPal still works. So just DM me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Text me. And
let me see. I think I saw the Google sheet from last year for it, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, no sense putting a pin in that right now. We got 2 weeks. We can plug that. I'm going to say right now I want a spot in each one.
Right.
Would you like to be put down for one, Joe?
I might do 2 in each one. How about that?
All right. So right there, 27 spots left. So message me when you can. I'm sure this podcast won't even be it won't even cool off. It'll be fresh off the press. I'll already get a message from Marcus. So
exactly.
Ultimate opportunist. But yeah, let me know. Send me a message. I'll handle all this, and then we'll do a drawing on the show before the Rumble.
Yeah. And we did get one more call from young Ed there.
Oh, 3 times.
Yes.
Listen, we had a big controversy today on wrestling Twitter, and I don't have a show anymore. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to call in and I'm going to talk about it, okay? You guys, I think we just need to discuss it, have an open dialogue, and really just talk about what happened today. Robert finally pointed out that Jeff Jarrett wore a QAnon bracelet at that World's End pay-per-view pre-show. I thought he was. I didn't say anything because I couldn't, I don't know. I didn't go back and watch it. But for a split second, I was like, is that a fucking Q on his bracelet? And it was. It was a fucking Q. And I told you guys, Jeff Jarrett's trash. I was right. Okay, bye.
All right. So I will say, apparently I missed this. And if Double J is QAnon, I think I might have to change my whole status on old slap nuts there.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you're going to change your opinion on QAnon. Like, you
no,
a lot of valid points all of a sudden.
No. All right. I have to do a journalism apparently later on when we're done here.
Yeah, because that's kind of big, Joe.
That's not great, right?
Yeah. All right.
Oh boy, I'm looking at a picture of it there.
Yeah, maybe that's not a Q. Maybe it's a circle with a top hat. I don't know. Yeah. Is that maybe it's like a Fitbit type of thing, and that's just the light or logo on it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you here, Joe. I don't got.
Now I will say, this person pointed out that again maybe, and again I'm not getting a good look at it because the one that Jeff is wearing is like a silver Q, as opposed to this one that has like a yellow Q on it, which is a pseudoscience. I don't know.
Well, the thing that you just had up, was that like a fitness band, or was it like one of those quackery fitness bands with like the magnets in them and stuff?
It was a fitness band.
All right, see, it's not too bad. I think, we can wipe this right under the carpet, right under the rug, Joe. You're good.
Yeah. All right, I got a lot. This ruined my day, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, nice going, Ed.
Yeah,
I like how he says he used to have a podcast. We're waiting on that Thanksgiving episode of Hayabusa any day now.
Right, a lot of people are coming out and saying it's this Hippocrates wellness pseudoscience thing. But like the Hippocrates science thing, like very clearly has a Q with like a cubed thing next to it, and the one that Jeff is wearing here doesn't. I don't know. I need to do more of a journalism. We might have to cancel everything.
Well, let's wrap up the show so that we can free you up to do that.
All right, we have. Listen, we can wrap things up here again. It's Is it a short week? I don't know what the hell it is. It's something. That ruined my day. So the ESPN Pigskin Pick'ems ended. I was in 23rd place, and Adam was in 5th. He didn't win.
Yeah, I just want to say I took your advice. I swung for the fences. I made some bold moves to try to get, not only to maintain my position, but I wanted to take first. And those bold moves didn't win. So Todd is finished as the number one host, and I'll let him have it. You know, he needs this more than I do. So
there you go.
At the end of the day, I won. I mean, I came in both second place and third place in the fantasy football league. So I don't.
Oh, you're taking third place.
Yes, I'm taking third place because Two Legs didn't want it. So
that's not the way it goes. Again, it goes. So it would go to whoever was.
That's just you defending Todd. As commissioner, I've implemented a rule that if somebody does not want their winnings and their placing, I can therefore assign it to anybody, and I assigned it to myself, the second place person.
Shameful.
Yes.
It's like if there's the Olympics and it's gold, silver, and bronze, and the person who won bronze gets disqualified, it's not like, oh, well, silver, you get bronze now too.
Why should we give a medal to somebody who didn't finish in the top 3? That's like a participation trophy.
All right.
Not happening. But anyways, good.
I don't know what I get for 23rd place, but I'll take it. Obviously, I forgot. I feel as though I mentioned it enough that I don't mention it. IWTV, Jerry's Internet Wrestling Emporium. Use the promo code @odds. New subscribers lets Jerry know that you came to him from us. And if you keep your subscription, we get a little bit of a kickback going forward. You can help us out by making any and all of your purchases through our eBay affiliate link. When you click on various merchants on the site to make a purchase, this can result in the site earning a commission. Affiliate programs and affiliations include, but are not limited to, the eBay Partner Network.
Yeah.
Adam got his big roll through with that today. You know?
Oh God, I don't know where I'm going to spend all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might invest it. Let my money work for me, you know?
Oh, definitely. What else was I going to say? There was something else that I wanted to mention. Obviously, the Patreon, of course. We're recording a show for the Patreon a little bit later on here. Did they delete this? Those rat bastards? Maybe. Yeah, that's what you get for deleting tweets. Anyway, so they put it out earlier today, but some of the LVAC shows got stealth announced. Okay. August 6th, they're back at the Iron Pigs, and July 21st, they're at Mahoning. No Sokol's dates as of yet.
Okay.
So I'm telling people now, 6 months in advance, Mahoning. 7 months in advance, Iron Pigs.
We need to get it so that a certain Ohio indie isn't running the exact same night as Mahoning. I think that's my plan.
I sent those 2 dates that I have to Thorne, and he said he doesn't have those dates locked in yet. That's all he said.
All right. I'm going to hold him to it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. TeePublic sales going on now, 35% off anything through our store that's linked up over on @oddswrestling.com. Is that the website?
Yes, it is.
All right. I forget sometimes. eBay, Jerry, TeePublic.
Yeah. Other podcasts, Longbox
Oh,
Heroes.
yeah, you do those. You do
Yeah, Longbox Heroes After Dark, We Need Wrestling, Porch Talk, Viewer's Choice, Indie Wrestling Guide, Wings on Wings, Hayabusa, and Final Wrestling Place.
I need anabolic steroids from this doctor right now. Anabolic steroids is a logical next step. Steroids are awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
All right. I'm glad to see chicken and rice is taking over the world.
Oh, yeah. It's the way to go.
It's all right. More people talking about it, more people doing it, more people getting it done. It's good stuff.
I'm glad the stigma of clean living is finally gone.
Exactly.
All right, best part of the show.
Some might cost a little. Some might cost a lot. But I'm the $100 Vansky. And your figures will be bought.
Hey, Joe, did you buy anything?
Yes, but it was nothing fun. It was all car maintenance related stuff. I'll just tell this real quick. I was going to tell it on After Dark this week, but we're running long, and I hate when that runs long and it doesn't need to. So, because I work from home more times than not, like they say that you're supposed to get your oil change like every 3,000 miles or like a certain date, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I was like a month past that date, right? So I'm like, I could probably use an oil change, right?
Yeah, you know the date is like that's a wives' tale from like car mechanics to get you to come back when you don't need to, right?
Yeah. Well, I remember there was even a time on my previous car when I changed over from like the whatever oil to the synthetic oil. That's how long ago this was. They said like, oh, well, that means you don't have to come back for another 5,000 miles, right? Knowing that like by the time that it reached 5,000 miles, my car was going to die anyway, right?
Yeah.
But I was like close. I was like 1,000 miles less. And I'm like, whatever. We're like a month and a half over, 1,000 miles less. Let me go take it over. Now I knew they were going to hit me up for the wipers, right? Because I had passed them the wipers last time, and my wipers were shit. They were falling apart. So I had that penciled in. So they're doing everything, and they're like, your battery looks like it's low, right? You probably can use a new battery. And I remember the last time that I got a battery was pre-pandemic, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they say that you're supposed to do it like every 3 to 5 years. I don't run my car that much, but we're closing in on 5 years for the last time that I got a new battery. So I go, what are you going to whack me for it? And the guy's like $180 plus installation. I'm like, that's a lot of money, right? Let's pass on that. I'm already doing the wipers. So I do the wipers, and then like the next day, my battery light comes on that my battery is low. I'm like, motherfucker, right?
They sabotaged you.
Well, it definitely needed it because like I have one of those. Because I used to the electrical in my old car was so shitty. I had like one of those tester things with me. I put the tester on it. It was running low, so I call my guy, right? My mechanic guy, I go, hey, can I drop the car off? No rush. Whenever you get to it, you get to it. I think it's the battery, but if it's anything else, just give it a check because the light's on. So he had it for 2 days, and that's one of the things that's good about it is, like, I'm in no rush because I work from home. I tell him I'm in no rush, but then, like, because he's a friend, he doesn't bill me sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I know how much the battery is going to cost, and I know what he charges people for batteries. He put the new battery in. I picked the car up before we recorded today, and I tell you, I turned that key, and, like, it was like I was starting, like, an 8-cylinder car the way it vroomed with the new battery in there versus the way that it run, like, 2 days prior, right?
And the problem is, like, your old car, it was such a gradual decline in the starter performance that you didn't feel it, like, as it was happening, because it would just get a little bit worse every day over the course of years. Yeah.
Because I was only taking out, like, twice a week, maybe once a week to go uptown and get my comics, you know?
Yeah.
So again, whatever the bill on that is going to be, I have that hanging over my head, but, like, it was 2 wiper blades on the front, and the rear wiper blade was like $80.
Yeah, I mean, you can always just take a little piece of the eBay money this month and just put that towards the car. You know, just a little.
I bought my kid a cone at McDonald's with that, so I had to use my 40% off coupon, so I wasn't owing money on it. But there we go.
I need to get a couple more months so I can buy a pack of smokes with the eBay money. And you remind me, I need to freaking start my Camaro. It's probably been 2 months since I've started it. So
you might want to start it and just even move it back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, I think now that the snow has melted, weather talk, I think I just might open the garage, stick the ass end out so I don't asphyxiate myself, and just run it for like a half an hour, maybe later tonight when we're done recording.
Yeah.
Anyways, I bought a couple toys for the first time in a while, just because it was stuff that I found in the wild. I'll be very quick. I found the entire Ultimate Series 19, which was Bobby Lashley and Bianca. I passed on both of them. I'm tempted with Bianca, but I'm like, I'll wait for a clearance sale or like a sale on ringside. But I did pull the trigger on the Kurt Angle, which is like the Kurt Angle with hair and like the it's kind of like Alliance era Kurt Angle.
Okay.
I love that figure. It's awesome. So I got the Kurt Angle Ultimate. And also I have been on a search at Targets for some of their most recent exclusives. I found and bought the Target exclusive Ultimate Warrior figure with the hot dog tan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the SummerSlam 91 Warrior, which is awesome. And I also got the Target Legends, I think Series 21, whatever, Young Boy Bad Terry. The Hulk Hogan.
Oh, like the Japan one?
No, it's Hulk Hogan managed by Classy Freddie Blassie.
Oh, with the blue cape. Tights and like the chest hair?
Yeah, and the giant cape.
Okay.
Yeah, so the next series of Legends is going to have the Japanese Hogan.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure which one it was.
Yeah, which is also one that I kind of want, just because they're such oddball Hogans. But I definitely wanted the heel Bad Terry, you know. And I found that. I could be tempted to buy the Chase Andre if I ever see it, but I'm not going to lose any sleep if I don't find it.
Andre Chase is a figure? That's awesome.
Oh, no, wrong Chase Andre, not Andre Chase.
Oh, okay.
We're doing a bit from the Discord, but that's all I got. Like I said, I got those 3 figures just all in the wild. I don't pay suckers premium for none of them. Happy to get a couple wrestling figures for the first time in a little bit. And that is it. And I also, as of 10:01 p.m., I am the last person in the entire soon-to-be-named network Discord. I still have not received a shipping notification for my bloody Eddie Kingston figure.
Listen, I'm just saying, the people who got their shipping notifications lean one way, and you're the only one that doesn't lean that way when it comes to thankfulness regarding figures.
I will.
We all got our shipping notifications. Yeah. You didn't. There's one discrepancy there.
Well, you'll have to light a candle to Big Daddy Cool next time that you need an on sale notification from somebody, because I ain't sending you one no more. You're gonna be like that.
Okay. Listen. You stop stating facts, Joe. All right, I will.
Yeah. But that's all I got, Joe.
All right. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for calling in. First time, long time's the whole deal. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for everything. For Adam, this is Joe closing out episode 275 of At Odds with Wrestling. Everyone be safe out there and enjoy some wrestling.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.